Stuff, and more stuff. And now we get to start selling it because the R5 is here. 8K.
They have a 12K camera
What?
too.
Last week was the announcement of Canon R5, R6, 8K. What a day. What a day. I was like, oh my God, this is just amazing. And yes, within an hour, people were complaining, naturally. But for me, this is like amazing stuff. Let's just put it in perspective. We just leaped forward into technology world. Finally, we were in stale world for quite a bit, and then boom, we're in the future. And yes, it's 8K and it's overheating. Oh, the horror, the horror. There will always be complainers, especially those who are never even going to actually buy the camera. Let's be realistic here. Somebody who's buying the R5 understands why they're buying the R5. And yes, there are heating issues. And yes, when you hear that as somebody who's buying something for $5,000, they, in Canadian, they probably don't want to spend that if they know it overheats. Yes. But let's really look at this. It delivered on everything that they were promising or everything that people wanted. And it's got the IBIS, it's got the internal recording with 4K, uncropped, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's got the things it needs. The R6 has everything that you need. With the exception of that 20 megapixel, if it was 30, I'd be like super pumped. The same thing. It delivers. It's 8K in a little box, little camera. And the best part of this is it's the future. It's the future here. It's the future of technology. What did we see right away? Well, Sony is like, yo, I'm here. Don't forget me. And they're coming out with their new super awesome camera that I think is going to deliver exactly to what people want. And on top of that, what do you hear? The silent launch of the 12K Blackmagic. We're like, what? We went from not being able to get 4K for the love of God to, oh my God, we got 8K and it overheats. And then, oh my God, we just have 12K. People, let's really put this into perspective. We are in a position now where we can actually start to plan out the future for our businesses, the investments of where we're going with. I don't have to sit here and wonder, should I go towards Canon and buy the lenses that are phenomenally expensive or switch over to Sony? What should I do? Now I can make a decision. Like by the fall, I can start making decisions on what I'm going to be doing with the business. Because here's the thing, it's all about the business. It's all about the money because that's going to enable us to keep growing and buying more tools and keep moving forward. This is the Canon R. This is the Canon R that I bought at Christmas time. Now, let's put it in perspective. This was on sale. The RF lens I got was on sale. I wanted to test this out, see what it's all about, see what everybody was talking about. And I love this thing. I'm shooting most of my stuff in 1080p anyways. Yes, I do shoot the 4K crop. But if a client calls me and says, hey, I need you to shoot something for me, what do I do if they want 4K? I rent the damn things that I need to use in order to achieve the goals that they're asking me to achieve. This is a phenomenal camera. And the place now of this makes all sense with what Canon has done. This will stick around for the next X amount of years while the R5, R6 goes through its cycle. This will be going through its cycle and then be, taken off. But the price has come down already. And yes, it's going to come down a little bit more, maybe $200-300. And yes, now we have positioning of how much everything's going to cost. But what does it enable somebody who's just getting into stuff or somebody who is, in the middle of creating content, they want a better tool? It gives them the opportunity to buy the lenses. Get it? $3,000 lenses. It helps you start to move into this world of Canon. And my idea is very simple here in how I process things. What is good for my pocket? Is it a need or a want? And how do I move forward? This is how we got to be thinking smartly because the future looks lovely. And if I know now that Canon is moving in that direction, and I know where they're going with their cinema lines, and I know that I'm buying a Canon that I can use so I can be in those shoots with people that I know are using Canons, guess what? It makes my decision easier to move to Canon. Like this, you can, it's external recording, you can get up to 10-bit, and now it's going to be internal, and you can get those shots that you want to get your shots of that equivalent with the cinema lines. Now let's look at this perspective. Sony's coming out, and we don't know what Sony's actually going to deliver, but if it delivers what they're saying, it's phenomenal. And now you have a choice if you're a Canon shooter, a Sony shooter, or if you're somebody else shooting with the other stuff to make a decision until those other guys catch up and maybe it's time to switch. But it gives us opportunities, and this is what I love about it. There's finally that jump forward of competition where I'm not sitting there going, did I make the right decision of going with Canon? See, our mindset has to change. And our mindset is all about being perfect, having everything perfect. And the reality is we're so far from perfect on everything. And then when you see a company create new technology that's going to bring in 8K in the future, in the next 5 to 8 years, we're going to be seeing some amazing things come out. Wow. And we're thinking about it overheats. Oh, because I can't shoot 8K. Oh, because guess what? This one takes these cards. There we go. Get it nice in there. Okay. And this is the 256 gigabyte. I love having the 256 gigabyte. I have two of those. Now, if I get the R5, I got to think about it because I have to spend money on the cards. And if I'm going to be shooting 8K, I can't just go with 32 gigabytes, well, even 4K. I have to go with the 128s. I'm looking at in Canada $1 billion to buy enough cards to do what I need to do. Okay? And the question goes, well, how does that run its narrative? And I'm not kidding you about this. Whether it's the CF cards or the UHS-2, I have UHS-1s on these, and it works fine with this with the R. And those are like $300-400 anyways too. We're looking at about $1,200 to $1,500 in cards if I want to do the same setup I have now. So I have to compromise. And at the same mindset of how I'm thinking about the overheating, I'm never going to shoot 120. I'm not going to shoot 120 frames in 4K for 20 straight minutes. So I put that in all in perspective because I have to take that and then move it onto my computer. And from my computer, I got to move it onto my Synology and then upload it online. And then I got to work with other people. That workflow is horrendous. I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's horrendous and it takes time, energy, and of course, money. My goal here is to really put this into perspective of money. Because here's the thing, you can only make more money by investing smartly based on your growth and where you're moving to. And if you're going to really be in that mindset of want and you go after something that you may not need, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot financially speaking. And you're not going to be focused on growing your business. It's all about growing the business so you can get the things you really want to get. And if you're looking at it and you're asking yourself, what can I do right now to find success with the times that are here? Ask yourself, well, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID. We don't know what's going to happen with any more lockdowns. We don't know anything other than the day to day as it comes. And what's my best case scenario? What's my worst case scenario? And what do I do to prepare myself in case it's that worst case scenario? On the other side, what is the investment I'm making into myself and my business based on what the gear's coming out and the hype that's up and how I want to mitigate that want and need and balance it out? I'm looking at the R5 right now, but the R6 is $2 grand less. And I'm saying to myself, do I really need the R5? But then the Sony's coming out. And I'm wondering myself, what do I actually need right now? I know there's a recession that is coming. That drop that we saw, that was nothing. Everything went back up, and that's all fluff. And I know that if a lockdown does happen again, when school starts in the fall and we go through a month or two and the flu season kicks in, I know that's going to tank. Probably not right away, probably in the coming months after that. And I'm looking at it from that perspective. I'm also looking at it from a perspective of if I buy that camera, how much use am I going to get it right away and future wise? And then I'm looking at it from perspective of where am I moving at as an investment for the future? Because I know that if I really want that R5 or R6 and I say no to the Sony, I know I'm going to be buying all the lenses. And then the question begs, do I buy that R5 or the R6 right away, or do I go in and buy lenses? I'm already buying the 85 millimeter because quite frankly, the 35 millimeter is awesome. I love enjoying shooting with it and the R. And then the question goes, okay, where do you go next? Because you got to prepare yourself for the next. And this is the mindset that we move on. Growth. Where are you right now? Where do you want to be? Eagle eye view. Let's get this thing moving in that right direction by balancing the needs and wants, and of course, the pocket and the money that's in there. I want to see money grow so the business is growing so that I can do more projects I love to do, so I can buy more equipment, so I can continue that loop. Now, this is the thoughts we have to be thinking, not is it overheating? Because in 3 years, they're going to make another camera, and guess what? It'll probably not be overheating as much. Now, in this video up next, I'm going to be launching all the reviews of all the equipment I've been using, all the different tools I use, so we can get thinking in the right direction of how everything works for the best interest of us, our pocket needs and wants. And of course, this is New York, and this is season 1 of how we got moving in the right direction.